Hello and welcome to News at Noon. I'm Aftab Borka. Pope Benedict has announced he's resigning. He's going to be the first pope in 600 years to step down. Reporter Charlie Crum has more on that and some other top stories of the day. Charlie?
Well, millions of Catholics started their day this morning with the news that Pope Benedict is resigning. The 85-year-old pontiff said he was simply too infirm to continue. A conclave will elect a new pope before the end of March, and Pope Benedict is the first to resign since the year 1415, and his resignation is effective February 28th. In the United States, President Barack Obama gives his State of the Union address tomorrow evening. His primetime address to Congress is expected to cover hot-button topics like jobs, the budget, and gun control. The President gives his address at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will be carried live on the Oakland Press website at www.theoaklandpress.com. In Detroit, the lengthy trial of former Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick on federal corruption charges is nearing an end. Closing arguments were scheduled today for Kilpatrick, his father, and a longtime crony who allegedly received millions in city contracts after some 70 days of testimony. The former mayor faces years in prison if convicted. And finally, in Oakland County, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder delivers remarks at the Village Club of Birmingham in Bloomfield Hills this evening at 7 p.m. after addressing the Detroit Regional Chamber luncheon.
All right, thank you, Charlie. And the city of Clarkston is cracking down on those tall, dry, and brown reeds, otherwise known as phragmites, that you might be noticing along some of the main streets. A local resident who's overseeing the whole operation told the Oakland Press why they're cutting them.
My name is Emily Duthin. I am with the Oakland Phragmites and Invasive Plants Task Force, and we are standing here in Clarkston at Depot Park, in the wetlands by Depot Park, looking at Phragmites, which is being cut in preparation to eradicate or control these Phragmites. These tall plants are an invasive tall reed called Phragmites. It came from Europe, and when it was brought here accidentally from Europe, I'd left behind the fungi and insects that eat it and keep it in check in its native Europe. It chokes out our native vegetation, preventing the wildlife from taking advantage of this beautiful wetland.
Brandon Township is entering into the second phase of a consumer's energy expansion project into areas that haven't had natural gas before. Their supervisor, Kathy Thurman, explained the project to us.
Well, we're just getting started in phase 2 of our 3 phases of our natural gas project, where Consumers Energy is going to be installing gas mains throughout Brandon Township, and this map denotes the areas that they're going to be working in. Phase 1 was more down to the southeast and a little section of the southwest. Phase 2, what we're going to be doing now, is on the western side of the township, and then phase 3 will be the northeast corner. And we've gotten started. We had our presentations January 19th. We're hoping to get at least 50% participation and have those applications come in by the end of February so that we can release phase 2 of the natural gas project.
The 55th annual Grammy Awards ceremony in Los Angeles last night was filled with a ton of fun and surprises. Here's a recap from the Associated Press.
And the Grammy goes to... Fun!
And the Grammy goes to... Babel, Mumford & Sons.
Producer Marcus Drives.
And the Grammy goes to... Oh, I love this song. Somebody that I used to know.
Producer Wally DeBacker. Engineers William Bowden, Wally DeBacker, and Francois Titas.
And if the Lions let you down this season, keep your hopes high for the Tigers for their upcoming baseball season. Oakland Press sports columnist Pat Caputo talks about their roster.
Conventional baseball wisdom that spring training isn't necessarily the best time to evaluate talent. But given that, there will be competition for the Tigers in spring training this year. And there will be players who can play themselves out of position. Example, Rick Porcello, Drew Smiley, who's going to be the fifth starter. If all things are equal, I think it'll probably be Porcello. But if one of the two doesn't pitch well at all, gets lit up, doesn't throw the ball well, one of them would be precluded from that competition. So somebody like Porcello, who seems to have the inside track going into camp, can lose that spot. Andy Dirks in left field. It seems like a given that he'll be the Tigers' left fielder. He played so much better than Brendan Bosch last year. But if Dirks has an absolutely awful spring and Bosch tears it up, there's a possibility Bosch could win that job. And there are other jobs for the bottom end of the roster. Players like Quentin Berry, a player like Danny Worth, a player like Don Kelly. How they perform in spring training will say a lot about whether they're on that final 25-man roster.
And that's it for tonight. Don't forget to watch us tomorrow at theoaklandpress.com. I'm Aftab Borkup. Have a great day.